Alright, today we're working on the old OM617 1984 300D Mercedes. Alright, and super common thing that's happening is we got the oil going into the turbo. The down tube is leaking, so we're going to try and fix that today. There's a couple of bolts. Let me see if I can get some light on that way deep down in there that I'm going to have to come to from the other side to kind of get out. Like, it's going to be back down there that I'm going to have to get to. Get those out, drop the oil pan, all sorts. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a wonderful day. But let's go ahead and get that started. Let's see if we can't fix this oil leak and get this thing back running today. Alright, successfully got those two bolts out. That was an absolute pain in the butt. But you can see in there that little piece, let me see if I can wiggle that, is the piece that we got loose. Yeah, this guy right here. So a couple of things that are already going wrong for me here. Not a huge deal, but as you can see, there's no gasket. That's bare metal right there, which leads me to believe that the gasket is stuck to the underside of the turbo, which is going to be just absolutely so much fun to, God, focus. Which is going to be so much fun to get off, but whatever. All right, now, other thing that's going to happen here, you see this is still trapped in there. Super loose, but trapped in there. I mean, maybe if I... Actually, there's probably no way I'm actually getting off. That's because this is a two-piece tube. All right, so there's going to be a cup. I'll show it in a minute here. There's going to be a cup, and then there's another down tube underneath it with an O-ring in the middle, and that O-ring is part of the problem that's actually leaking there. So I'm going to have to remove the bottom part of the tube now as well. So I think I've shown this before. Let me get out of the car. Ugh. Part of the issue here is super dark, but that's okay. All right, I'll get out of the way. Is that right there? That is the bottom part of that tube. As you can see, there is a hose clamp and a gasket maker around it. Sorry about the focus there. Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna have to drop the oil pan here and hammer that out from the bottom. That's gonna be all kinds of fun. So let's stay tuned for that. All right, got the oil pan off here. As you can see, it looks like there's not a gasket. Nobody put a gasket on there last time. I didn't see one when I pulled it off of the engine itself. Looks like there's just a gasket maker squeezed in there, which, whatever. Oh my gosh, stay focused. All right, so a little bit of oil in the bottom of it, unavoidable, right? You can pretty much hard to drain all of it out. I don't see anything shiny in there, so like no flecks of metal. If you see little dots, that's most likely that's just like Jesus fucking those little dots are actually like air bubbles. They were going away here just a second, so like right there, whatever, little air bubble. Now, if you're paying attention, you may notice looks like there's some solid stuff in the bottom there, and that's probably really bad in an oil pan. So I'm gonna take a second here, fish that stuff out and see what's going on and see if this engine is actually just dead. All right, so this is gonna be hard to see because everything is the color of oil here, but today on It Came From the Oil Pan, we got a ton of stuff here. All right, so first off, we got that there. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. It's not really focusing, but you can see that little plug right there looks like it's got threads. That's because it does. It's not a bolt though. This is actually you can see I can squish it. This is actually a chunk of silicone. So it got threaded through a hole in the oil pan, I'm guessing, to hold it to the engine, and ended up inside the oil pan. So hooray, silicone gasket maker. All right, the rest of this junk here, this is actually mostly zip tie. Yeah, zip tie inside the oil pan. Freaking great. Not overly concerned about that because most of that probably, even if the zip tie did run through the engine, realistically it's plastic. It's probably brittle at this point, but probably didn't cause too much damage. Now the thing that does concern me, that little guy, this little snap ring here, that was in the bottom of the oil pan. Zero idea where this has come from. I've taken multiple of these engines apart before. I do not ever remember seeing a snap ring like this. So did it come from inside the engine? I have no idea. Where else it came from? I also have no idea, but yeah, I am a little concerned about that. Now, this is not my car. So if it were me, I would probably just put it back together and run it until it dies. But not my car, so gonna call the owner and see what he wants to do about it. So yeah, I guess project is on hold until that's done. All right, so we are under the car again here. Got the oil pan off and everything. This is the dipstick, everything. So still haven't heard back from the owner on what to do about that Circlip snap ring, whatever that was in the oil pan. But I decided to go ahead and investigate a little bit further. So there you go. Pulled the oil pump off. Really not supposed to be like removed from the bottom. These old Mercedes engines, the way they worked, they had a two-piece oil pan. They had a bottom oil pan where you could actually get to stuff, but it was effectively useless. And then the larger oil pan. As you can see under here, I've got the main caps in here, first couple of pistons. Now that I've got the oil pump out of the way, you can see it. And I discovered what the issue was. Oh, come on. Stay focused. This guy right here. This is the chain that drives the oil pump. Still in really good shape. It's oil bath. It should be, unless you've run your engine out of oil. This should stay in pretty good shape. I moved just a touch and it just... Come on. All right. This piece up here, though... Stop looking at my finger. Whatever. All right. This is the tensioner. So this is spring-loaded here. I know it's hard to see because the focus keeps changing, but that's spring-loaded. But what you can see is this is pushed all the way up against the front of the block. Like it is not supposed to. Oops. And you can see there, right, it is just all out of whack. I am like, 99% certain that that's where that clip came from. It's this rod. It's supposed to be pushed further back, clipped on there. So this is going to be complete and utter pain in the ass, but what I'm going to have to do is I will have to drop this main cap here to get to that, to pull, like this is the feeder tube that comes down to where the oil pump pumps up into the top end. But I'm going to have to drop all that out of the way to get this off and replace that clip. So, joy. All right. So here's all the crap that we have just pulled off the front of the engine. All right. So we got our actual oil pump here. So you can look at, that's the bolt on there with that washer. That's where our sprocket was on the chain drive. We got our main cap here, which wipe it off. This is hard to do one-handed. I apologize. I'll pop, because I don't think I'll be able to do it with one hand. Pop that bearing out later and inspect it. It looks all right. Don't see any like copper or anything like that in there, so that's good. But then we get to the part that actually matters. So this right here, you can see it's got a spring on the back side of it, and what this is doing, which actually, let me go ahead and just get in a little bit better light. Well, I'm gonna make a mess, but that's just fine. All right, well, that didn't really help because everything's burnt oil black. But this spring right here is what holds this up against the chain to give it some tension. Now, the problem here is this sucker just slides right off. That is not the way it's intended. There's supposed to be a clip on the end of this. Haven't really looked at that. Oh, that's a lot of oil leaking out of there. That's fine. Haven't really looked at that pin. Don't know if like the groove is not deep enough, or if the pin or the clip just broke off. But take a look at this guy. Take a look at this guy. Not terrible, but you can see it does have some wear. Right? So don't know how much this costs. If it's not like ridiculously expensive, just go ahead and replace that guy. It's not I'm guessing it's not going to be a huge issue to replace that. But definitely, because I'm going to have to order the clip that goes on here. Like, there's no question there. There's absolutely no way that's just going to be like my local auto parts. So I'll put that clip back on there, get this whole shebang back up in the engine, and theoretically it'll run. So yay, more parts to order. But now that I know what the issue is, I can go ahead and continue working on other parts of the car while I wait for this clip to come in. Hooray.